imbalance. Trump doesn't talk about this type of trend imbalance just yet. Hey, it's Marek. It's a slightly unusual setup today. I'm in Shanghai, China. It's a bit cold. I don't have my usual recording setup. The microphone in my glasses is picking up the audio. Hopefully, it works well for you. For those of you watching this podcast as a video, it's a beautiful Shanghai skyline behind me. Hopefully, in a few minutes, all those buildings will light up with commercials, advertisements. The sun has only recently gone down. But let's talk about China and what I call the saddle advantage. It's mid-January right now, 2026. In just over a month, February 17th, a new Chinese zodiac year starts, the year of the horse. And whenever I think about the year of the horse, I think about the fact that horses have really transformed the economy historically, but it only happened when we managed to domesticate those horses or tame them. And I think it's a very interesting metaphor for what's happening with artificial intelligence and all the progress in technology these days. Last time I was in Beijing, I just came from Beijing to Shanghai. Last time I was in Beijing was 20 years ago. I used to live in Beijing when I worked for Microsoft Research Asia. Shanghai, I was back here 10 years ago organizing a conference pretty much in a building just in front of the Pearl Tower. And so it's really good to be back here. Over those 20 years, a lot has changed. Especially in Beijing, I see much more technology right now. So 20 years ago, when I was trying to get to Tiananmen Square or the Forbidden City, it was easy. You would just cross a road and you would get there, especially the Tiananmen Square. These days, you have to register in advance. You have to line up on the day. You get your passport checked. You get your pat downs. You get your bags scanned. You get your face scanned. It's really, really hard. Lots of technologies there. But then the interesting part is the moment you get onto Tiananmen Square, you see all those new technologies. I saw a self-driving shop at the Tiananmen Square. Then you cross over to the Forbidden City and you have self-driving buses inside the Forbidden City. The walls built during the Ming Dynasty are now also places where those embodied artificial intelligence technologies roam around, which is absolutely fascinating. But that also is a great example of what China really is right now. It is this mix of tradition and modernity. It's this mix of technology and also considerations of the culture. The yin yang seems to be working very, very well. So let's talk about the year of the horse, which starts in just over a month. I think we're going to see three patterns emerging over that time of the year of the horse. The first pattern is the fact that China shows us that regulation is not the opposite of innovation. So on the regulatory side, China is quite strict when it comes to artificial intelligence. The newly introduced regulation will require everyone who provides chatbots or AI companion apps to remind users every 2 hours that they might be spending too much time with those apps. At the same time, they also need to monitor for signs of addiction and again, introduce measures to stop any addictive behavior on the side of the users. So that's the regulatory part. With this focus on regulating AI, China is also leading the world in Gen AI research. This is the place where the most research is being published when it comes to research in most impactful journals at the most impactful conferences. So that's the first pattern, that regulation is not the opposite of innovation. The second pattern is all about working smarter instead of working harder. In the US, when you look at the Silicon Valley, you see a lot of focus on building new data centers, investing into technologies, training bigger models, spending more time on the training. In China, you see people throwing brains at this challenge. So you see models that are trained at a much lower cost. In fact, between 2023 and 2025, Chinese digital companies have spent 123 billion US dollars on all sorts of capital investment, which of course includes capital investment in AI infrastructure. US 694 billion US dollars, so 6 times as much. The outcome? Chinese models like the recent Minimax M2 are reaching 90% of capability of the best US-based models. So it seems like working smarter, not working harder, is paying off for the country. So that's the second pattern that we're seeing here. And the third pattern is all about the great Chinese firewall. So I'm here in China right now. I am not allowed to use Claude. I am not allowed to use ChatGPT. Those systems are simply not available inside the country. China builds their own models and exports them, makes them open source. One of those beautiful examples of it is that just over 12 months ago, Chinese LLMs were used at about 1.2% globally. So when it comes to the market share, Chinese LLMs had just over 1% of the market share. That pretty much is a rounding error. 12 months later, at the end of 2025, that market share is at 30%, almost 1/3 of the global market, a country that does not allow any external models. This is pretty much the biggest market in the world. Does not allow any external models, but exports them everywhere. Is now reaching almost 1/3 of what is used all around the world. So three very exciting patterns. The first one about the fact that, like a yin yang, you can bring together regulation and innovation. These are not opposites, these are not challenging one another. The second one, it's all about working smarter, not harder, recognizing that better architectures, better approaches to artificial intelligence might lead to better results. Hey, by the way, transformer models, this was not just throwing more CPUs, GPUs at what we already had, but really coming up with new approaches to artificial intelligence that has worked. Perhaps China will be the place where we see those new approaches to AI emerging. That's the second pattern. And the third pattern: close your market, protect your internal market, but also flood all the external markets with models and really build that sort of trade imbalance. Trump doesn't talk about this type of trade imbalance just yet, to really grow your economy. I can see that all the lights are starting to pop up behind me. This is less than 10 minutes. Greetings from China. It's pretty cold right now here. But you know what? I think we should be paying a lot of attention to what's happening in this country. There's a lot of interesting innovation coming from China in the next 12 months. I'm very sure about that. Stay curious. This is me. Greetings from Shanghai.